welcome to Leaders of Tomorrow Masterclass, a series of digital conversations talking about the issues that matter the most to you, the entrepreneur. I'm Sunanda Jayasseelan. Tonight, part 2 of an exclusive conversation that we did talking about how the pandemic has disrupted the dating apps and the wedding platforms market. What are the big trends entrepreneurs should be looking for? And what are the innovations and the disruption that's taken place? What can we look forward to? All of that being discussed on the masterclass. Let me quickly introduce our panelists first. Abel Joseph, CEO and founder, ISLE. Snehal Kannor, CEO and co-founder, Truly Madly. Arpit Agarwal, Director, Bloom Ventures.
Dating apps are also used as social networking apps, not just for finding love, but also finding a platonic friendship.
So video has become a very integral part of meeting someone. So same thing is happening in the dating world.
The big trend that is happening is about the weddings and the plannings are happening. An inspiration of these is happening via Instagram and via platforms like the Wedding Brigade.
Very interesting question coming to us from our audience member, Samara Pratap. And she's saying even as businesses have moved from offline to online, with now the pandemic restrictions easing up and with the worst of the pandemic behind us, are businesses going to look at going from online to offline as well, or a combination of all three? Maybe Snehal, you want to take this first?
See, in our case, we were online since,
I think what she means is, meeting up offline. And
definitely, right?
Yes.
So definitely. So what we observe is while they are meeting for the first time online, but they do eventually meet offline, and that friction will certainly reduce with pandemic if it is behind us, right? And we, for example, being a digitally native businesses, we do not intend to or ever plan to go offline, right? But definitely people are out and about, people are going out on dates, meeting for real, meeting for movies and dinners, right? So that we are already seeing happening around us.
It's time to take our second poll question as we speak. And I think one of you had spoken about, really women and the offerings as far as your women users are concerned. And this is our second poll question for our audience members who've logged in for our Leaders of Tomorrow Masterclass being presented to you by IDFC First Bank. Do you think women are offered extra features to attract them when it comes to joining either dating or wedding apps? I think it would be more to do with the dating market per se, yes or no. But I want to take another question. As a trend to call out, what are the new business opportunities for our entrepreneurs who've logged in today that you would like to tell them to say, hey, for the wedding market, for the dating market, these are the opportunities or the areas in the mid to short term that you can look at?
Of course, the big opportunity and the big market, especially fast-growing market, is the online dating market. So if there's a new entrepreneur, they will always be slivers of the market segments which are not being captured very well by large platforms. In the wedding space, can you provide even more features? Can you help a youngster manage all the aspects of their wedding? Can you allow almost all kind of transactions to happen entirely online? And we shouldn't forget, there is a wedding is a formal function too. So there has to be someone helping the couple getting registered, marriage registered. Can you help a couple figure out counselor once they have gotten married? I think the marriage counseling is an area which is completely underappreciated, or relationship based counseling before the wedding or after the wedding, because today marriages are under some degree of strain in general. So that is another piece which is underappreciated and underrated. I think there is a lot more that can happen online. We are just starting to scratch the surface. The businesses should be in touch with the realities of the market and try to provide new features and services which otherwise have not been found so far online.
Sure. There is one more question that's coming from our audience member, and a response to the second poll that we had taken. 86% of you saying yes, 14% saying no. And I want to discuss that a little bit more in detail. Do wedding apps, do the wedding market through the wedding brigade, for instance, do you largely target a female audience base? And if so, what insights could you give someone who's logged in for today's masterclass about how you're perhaps customizing some of your offerings specifically for women? I know has what you call the aisle rooms, if I'm not mistaken, to work largely with the safety concerns really for women who log on to dating apps and platforms like yours. Just run us through those, Arpit, specifically for the wedding market, and Abel and Snehal for the dating apps market.
If you look at the entire social network market in India, for example, a Facebook, only 23% of all profiles are female profiles. So the female market is underpenetrated, and it is not something out of surprise. I think access to internet is underpenetrated in women folk in India. And as a consequence, maybe WhatsApp has 50-50, who knows, but at least Facebook has only 23%. As a consequence, women feel lot less comfortable accessing some of the online platforms, and it is not a surprise that the online platforms like Aisle or Truly Madly may probably have 1/4, 1/5 women on the platform. As a consequence, given the skewed ratio, one has to focus on giving more comfort to the women audience as compared to the male audience. Because this is a two-sided marketplace. If you are helping more women come to the platform and doing something, it obviously leads to more men doing even more engagement. So that's how the apps are built, and rightly so building. I don't see any problem with women being focused more on the campaigns on the top of the funnel, or via influencers or via digital marketing.
So I'll like to add something to that data, right? So recently I was going through census data, and I was looking at 2011 census data, singles 20 to 34 age group, right? So in as per 2011 census data, there are 8.8 crore singles in 20 to 34, and only 28.88% are female, right? And in as per 2001, only 25.75 were single females. Now, when earlier it was like men would usually marry a girl who were 4 to 5 years younger than them, right? Now it is not the case. Now you want to marry in the same age group. So the India's demography data is skewed towards men, right? There is a scarcity of single women in the same age group, right? So when we do give more features and more preference to women, we do it for you, right? So that you can find that girl on the platform, right? So that is the prime reason for that.
Abel, I noticed comments saying that some of the funding that you've raised from previous investors, you're looking at expanding into tier 2, tier 3 markets. So maybe I can come to you first, Abel. How are these markets different? What insights can you give someone who's logged in and is watching this masterclass about why perhaps these markets are different, how you need to build and target these markets differently, and therefore the opportunity really call out those opportunities by way of a trend that you want to for our entrepreneurs?
Yeah, I think the biggest differentiator would be that tier 2 and tier 3 does not have the mall culture, right? So this is where you would actually go out on a date to a mall or a park, things that are actually logistically not really possible in tier 2 or tier 3. And so the online experiences that we build should be mindful of that, and should be built in a way that singles can actually spend enough time on these apps so that they can get to know these individuals that they're interacting with. And I think next step for tier 2 and tier 3 is not to have a prolonged dating period like what we might have in tier 1, right? In tier 1, we might actually date somebody for 3 to 5 years, be in a live-in, but that's not really possible in other cities, some of the tier 2 and tier 3 cities. When it comes to women, we have not really seen a difference in proportion compared to metropolitan cities and tier 2 and tier 3. So for instance, if we watch a makeup tutorial video for women on YouTube by an Indian creator, I think probably 50 or 60% of the comments would be from men, right? So the demography is definitely kind of the pendulum is definitely on the other side when it comes to the quantity of male users versus female users on the internet.
This next question is coming to us from Kanchan Sharma, and this is a question specifically for Arpit. Arpit, what are wedding apps and platforms doing when it comes to changing mindsets of people? Are parents moving away from looking for slim, fair, beautiful brides? And what are companies and businesses doing? So, is there some element of responsibility also that gets factored in? Is that a fair question to ask?
People expect the online platforms to change the way society functions. And Kanchan, I agree that online platforms should do their best possible so that stereotypes are not propagated. At the same time, I do not think that online platforms have a choice to do this beyond a certain point. If just for argument's sake, you're only looking at and pictures. I'm sure if Snehal and Abel did some statistic, they'll realize that a fair, slimmer girl finds more matches as compared to one who's lot more, who's not so slim. I mean, that's reality. What can you do beyond a certain number? At the same time, there has to be an equitable measure. For example, the features can be built in such a way that you are not explicitly asking for certain preferences. You are making sure that stereotypes like, for example, religion or caste or creed or background or language has limited usage, because these things also eventually lead into people making a stereotype. At the same time, I don't think we can completely eradicate it because society is in this particular manner. We have to learn to live with it, honestly. But we can do a lot more. Yes.
I'm going to slip into a short break on that note. Back in just a moment. Welcome back with us here on Leaders of Tomorrow Masterclass. Let me also very quickly take in another question that's coming to us from Gupta, our audience member. He says he's with Brigade Group. How many dating apps do you think India needs? 1, 10, 100, 1000? Is there a number that we should be looking at, perhaps capping? What's the opportunity, I'm assuming he's trying to understand. Snehal, do you perhaps want to take this on first?
I don't have a number, but I can tell in the last 2 months, I have seen decks of 3 to 4 new dating apps, right? See, when the market is such big and so see, look at it that way, that now that everybody in Gen Z and millennials, they're studying online, they're doing their banking online, they are finding and doing their jobs online. There is no reason they'll find love offline. When you see that there is such a huge market, when you see that there is such a huge revenue opportunity, more and more players will come. Nothing you can do. But at the same time, we do know that there have been multiple researches that on an average, a user use 2 to 3 different dating apps at a time in their phones, right? So it is not a winner takes all market. It is, and it also happens that one may not be able to find any match in one app, but may find or maybe a hero of that app or that algorithm, right? So that this is how it works, and I don't see any problem in that, frankly.
I have a follow-up question, in fact, to that, and I want to read out statistics. Of course, the three of you know this, but this is for the benefit of our viewers. The overall dating market, and we're talking about digital, the overall market, digital, for both dating and wedding, in 2020 was at about $1.3 billion, and the projection by 2025 is $2.8 billion. What is driving this sense of optimism and this really the opportunities. Where are the opportunities? If you can, by way of trends for our viewers, really let them in on where is this growth going to come from.
Look, I would have to say pan India, and that's a mindset shift, and that is coming through Bollywood creators on YouTube, Facebook, etc. And so we are not getting to see content that is promoting an arranged marriage anymore. Now, matrimony is the new taboo. And this, we would have probably never had this conversation or have used matrimony as a taboo when we had launched, or even we as well as Truly Mandy had launched in 2014. The pendulum was on the other side. It was dating that had the taboo tag attached to it. So the shift in mindset is going to happen with virtual content. When we start talking about things like metaverse, etc., it's going to be a rapid change towards meeting people online, starting relationships, and not really consulting friends and family for their individual, independent, most important decision, right? Sure. So that's where I think we're heading.
Arpit?
I think there's an untapped opportunity on LGBTQ market. There is also untapped opportunity on second shadi or second dating. People who are otherwise were married at some point. Maybe there is a need for a vernacular-based platform, a Tamil platform or a Telugu platform, a Bengali platform for weddings, and people finding serious dating happening online. I'm sure some of these Ireland, Truly Madly are looking at this as well. That is a very large opportunity. So there is this country is full of opportunity, especially because this segment has all youngsters, and we are the largest young country in this world. So the opportunities are going to be in plenty.
Is that why India is the fastest growing market as far as dating apps are concerned, Snehal? I understand we used to be behind China, and now we are in second place, right behind the US.
Yeah. So see, one thing which all of us can very easily relate to and would have observed around us, nobody is getting married at 24 and 25 anymore, right? Which used to be the case when we started back in 2014, 2015. So this rapid change in the socio-cultural, aspect of dating and marriage has led to that. Now that you are marrying late at 27, 28. So we are the generation who are we are the first generation who are responsible for our own marriages. And it is a very important, the single most important decision that we will take in our lives. So we would look for something, a compatible partner, because when you are marrying late, you are pretty much set in your own ways, right? So it is even more important for you to find a compatible life partner. And you have that understanding that, spending a few hours in a day with someone is completely different from spending 24/7 with someone, right? So once you know that, you do invest in time as well as your money in finding that partner. You know that you don't want to get into arranged marriage setup. You don't want to go on traditional matrimony websites. Find probability of finding love on apps designed for hookups and casual sex is very low. We have very limited time and network outside of work. So if I today want to find a compatible life partner who is also looking for something serious, where do I even go? Right? So we want to become that platform that the moment you decide, ki, hey, I want to eventually settle down and find a compatible life partner, where do I go? Truly Madly. Right. So I think the most of, and in fact, one sub trend, beneath the numbers that you said, is that the biggest, fastest growing category among the three, casual, serious dating and matchmaking, is the serious matchmaking, right? That serious dating is going to be the fastest growth driver for India's dating revenue.
We have two questions coming in. In the interest of time, let me actually combine both questions. The first is coming back to us from Gupta saying, what do you see are adjacency opportunities, which I taking to mean complementary opportunities? This is a question that is coming to us from Alfred Paul saying, the time spent, I understand, is only about 20 to 25 minutes on apps, and there's a high churn. How will that stop? So one, how do you ensure that people are spending more and more time, of course, on your apps? Both answering Gupta as well as Alfred. Snehal, to you first, maybe.
So time spent, for guys, it is 27, 28 minutes. For girl, it is 35 minutes in a day, which is good enough. We don't have to really care too much that we want people to spend even more time, given that they also have to spend time on Instagram and YouTube and Facebook, and also have to do some things outside of their smartphone, which they should, right? But see, dating is a good churn, has a good churn associated with it. We feel proud when we are able to match two people who ultimately then decide to delete the app. So that is why we are not we don't classify dating, especially serious dating, as a DAU MAU business. It's an early monetization business, right? So that is what we work on. We are very well able to recover all of our CACs and convert it into much higher LTV. So as long as that is happening, we don't really want you to stay on the app for a long time. We want to solve your problem. We want to provide you value and in turn earn some money from you.
Okay, let me very quickly take closing comments then. We are running completely out of time on today's masterclass. And I want to come to you first, Abel. I noticed that you've come up with innovation like IL Concierge. You're looking at the NRI market as well, and you're looking at that expansion. So really talk to us about the mid to short term, what's on your plate, what you're excited about, that you can talk to our viewers about.
Yeah, so NRI and Tier 2 and Tier 3 are, I think, the primary focus for the next 6 months. One, NRI market has kind of been neglected. I think we have one player in the NRI market who's done a fairly good job and is not even an Indian company, right? So I think we should make the attempt to spread the word about brands that are being in India. And there are plenty of Indians abroad who want to connect with Indians in India and possibly even, take them back to the land that they work at. So we want to make that, we want to be the facilitator of that. Tier 2 and Tier 3 is super interesting. We actually feel that more than 60% of our revenue in the next 3 years is going to come from Tier 2 and Tier 3. So we've really taken this, Bharat approach fairly seriously. In fact, we've launched multiple apps with names that resonate with the people that reside in that land.
Thank you so much for taking the time to join us here on this very fascinating masterclass and for being great sports. That's all we have in part 2 of this masterclass. If you have any more questions for us, do let us know. Our number is coming up on the screen, that WhatsApp number is how you can reach us directly. Thanks for watching. Have a good night.